Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're going to give it a couple minutes before we start. My name is Neeta Pai. I'm with Excelencia, and I have Matt here. Let's give it a couple minutes. All right, let's start. Mart, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Neeta Pai. I'm with Excelencia, and I will be moderating today's webinar. Today's webinar is hosted jointly by Excelencia and OneTrooper. We'll be discussing Oracle ERP transformation, governance, security, and AI-driven operational intelligence. Joining us today is Matt from OneTrooper, who brings extensive experience in Oracle governance, security, licensing, and ERP transformation initiatives. Matt, thank you for being here today. We look forward to hearing your thoughts. To get us started, can you tell us a little bit about your background and what OneTrooper does?
Oh, thank you, Nithya. Thanks, Excelencia, for the opportunity to kind of talk on these topics. Well, I will start out with how I got introduced to Excelencia and Rajesh, as well as how I got started with OneTrooper. I think that'll be a good story to start it out.
Absolutely.
Last year around this time, we've got Ascend coming up next week. So I was at Ascend last year, and I was at a after party with Organo and Opkey, and that's where I ran into Rajesh, and we were chatting, having cocktails, and he mentioned something to me. He's like, "Hey, have you heard of OneTrooper? I have a guy out of Houston, Sriram, who started a GRC company, and we're having a good time that night. And that's when I got to know Excelencia and what you guys are doing as well. And then I didn't think anything of it. Then I reached out to him and said, hey, I try to do my due diligence. I was at Clayton Homes at the time, and implementing this stuff within Clayton Homes. So I always look for tools out there to help with solutions in the GRC space. So I thought, I've never heard of OneTrooper. Let me find out what they're doing. So really, that's when I got interested and kind of saw some of the solutions that OneTrooper is putting out there. We'll talk about them today: license management and optimization, and self-service role-based provisioning. Those were the two differentiators that I was like, hey, the industry and companies need these solutions, and they're just not out there for them. So we'll talk about that today, but that's how I got introduced to Excelencia, but also to OneTrooper, and Rajesh and Sriram
all roads
have been
lead
colleagues.
to Ascend.
Yeah. So yeah, it all starts at Ascend. So,
That's funny, Matt, because that's where I met Rajesh too.
Gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I've liked it for many reasons, because it's OTUG puts on this with OHUG as well. It's a user group, so it's using Oracle Cloud. If you're an EBS in that space, what are other companies doing in that space? You're not just going and hearing what Oracle Cloud or Oracle wants to push out there. You're looking at other companies that are going through the same problems and how are they troubleshooting that. So I mean, it's a great opportunity to see some presentations. I'll be presenting this year. We'll throw up, there's was it booth 514?
Yes. 514, yes.
514.
When you're not presenting, you'll be at 514.
Yeah. I'll be sitting there with Excelencia, and if you're there, we'd love to see you in person. But yeah.
Yep.
It's a great conference. We're not here to promote Ascend, but it's
looks
actually
like it.
a really good conference. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be there.
But personally, between Oracle AI World and Ascend, which are the two big ones I go to, my personal favorite is Oracle Ascend. Oracle, I'm sorry if you're hearing this. Ascend OATUG, they do a great job. It's small, it's intimate, it's the user. So we love it. So,
Yeah,
um,
and they have on Wednesday night they have a party, a disco
right.
party.
Yeah,
So
if you don't see us at the booth, see us at the party, right?
yeah, so
So this is
it's a
how
great
the
opportunity.
partnership started with so what is the partnership story between Excelencia and One Trooper? You've been there at it longer than I have, so maybe you want to explain the
Well,
partnership story.
it was I talked with Rajesh and Sriram about this because I was curious about the story, how they got connected, and it really evolved around a client having a need, a client out of Houston, and so really they needed something on the security side, SOD, sensitive access, and Rajesh knew Sriram. They had been acquaintances. They met, and so they kept up probably every quarter kept up. But really, the client needed something in the space of SOD and sensitive access tool, and that's how we got connected to jointly go in with that client and help them with that need, implementing that software, and then allowing them to kind of monitor it themselves going forward. So that's really the start of it. And
Mhm.
then um,
I
you
think you've
know
been part of the transformation stories, even when Excelencia goes to do implementation, support. One Trooper is part of the story, right? I mean,
yeah
we are giving the
yeah
benefit to the client. One Trooper comes in, we do the implementation on, finance transformation, and you come in as
yeah
the governance and security. So it's a
well yeah,
team
and there's a
effort.
lot, there's a lot of system implementers out there that, don't have the security arm. The big four have a separate team that does it and comes in. Um, and so really it allows to provide the client what they need at the end of the
Hmm.
day. And they don't necessarily have to go and pay the big four prices to get
Yep.
a full scope implementation covering security and SOD. And now what I like to talk about is this license management and optimization going into it, helping clients in the optimization space. So look forward to talking about that. Also profiling One Trooper's tool that we use to help in that space. But we usually see on those projects anywhere from 500,000 to 1.5 million in savings and Oracle licensing every year. So planning there, you can really see a dollar amount savings. Um, so,
That's great. So what are some of the common challenges that clients keep bringing up, Matt?
uh, well, after go live, you can have audits for segregation of duties. Um, where if you're not implementing and monitoring segregation of duties and sensitive access, the auditors on the back end will write you up and you'll have issues there, and then you'll have to go and implement um, a solution. So, a lot of most clients we see ideally would love to help them on the front end and work with SIs like Excelencia and other SIs to implement this, day one when you're going live and design it that way. A lot of times that's not the case. Functionality is king in this space. So a lot go live with a lot of the seeded roles that have SOD conflicts, and when they get audited on the back end, or what we're seeing more often before an audit is when they get Oracle usage audit on their licenses. They've they've gone
Right.
over their budget amount, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, we now have to pay all these extra licenses we did not budget, we did not anticipate," and so we tend to come in when there's pain, when uh, there's some issues there. So sometimes the audit takes a little bit longer. Um, with these go lives, a lot of times, if you don't implement it up front, um, it's going to be more challenges down the road for the change management side. But but yeah, we see SOD as one of the major things. License management and optimization has become a hot topic. because of those audits and usage audits from Oracle. And then the third is really, it's a functional, but it's a huge value add where it brings in a lot of automation, is the self-service role-based provisioning. So most of these go lives, when you go live, you've already tested in UAT, you've gone through the iteration, so you know what job roles and stack role combinations clients need, so or team members need. So you really kind of roll out and provide them that access. What is not really addressed is the process of, movers, leavers, and joiners. You have new team members that join. How do we know what access they need? How do we go about if somebody, transfers, to a new area? Like what roles should they get? Has it gone through SOD? Are we having issues with that? And also, when people leave, are their roles being removed, or, so are they consuming licenses? Are they in that space? So self-service role-based provisioning is a functional need that usually is not kind of addressed until after go live. And then, it becomes very difficult sometimes, days, weeks, to get access that people need. And so really that self-service role-based provisioning, where somebody can put in a request and it be tied to a persona of what they are in HR, and then it knows what roles to give them. It runs through SOD. There's a workflow approval required from ITGCs and SOCs. So you need to have somebody approving that request. So if you got that workflow. Now, the one thing that I worked on was trying to get the front end workflow, and even using ServiceNow to do a front end workflow for the request. And it would actually tie to a job code, so that you could provide the access to them. But it was just to get the workflow and approval with one trooper. The back end auto provisioning of those job roles in the security context is a huge value add, because the solution admins, most organizations have a lot of solution admins with Oracle because of the complexities of the provisioning process. There's a lot of layers. And so really those FTEs cost a lot of money to have somebody that's very experienced in that space. And so you're going to have more people power if you don't have that process automated. So a lot of organizations are moving towards that. So it's a space that I kind of, a lot of people talk about it, where they say, okay, there's companies like Okta that have the joiners, movers, and leavers, and they'll set up an account. But for all these ERPs, they're very complex. What access they should have within that system, most of those big companies don't have that solution in place. And is it checked against an SOD rule set or sensitive access? So that's really kind of like the missing link there, where they'll create an account and they'll delete account once they're terminated, but they don't really know what they should have within Oracle, and so forth. So
Interesting.
that's a gap there that is out there. So I'd say those are three of the big ones, with SOD being a common thing out there, but licensing being huge for Oracle Cloud, and then the self-service role-based provisioning.
Awesome. So in Excelencia, we're seeing a growing need within our customers for AI-driven automation to simplify their Oracle operations or remove some, manual efforts, right? So is this what are organizations actually trying to solve? What do you see, Matt?
Well, I mean, AI is a hot topic. I mean, AI, everybody's throwing out AI, and it's it's great, but like I fall back, and it's hard for me, since my heart and I bleed as an accountant. I'm always asking, what is the cost? Well, okay, AI is great, but what's the cost to it?
Right.
And So keeping it accountable, or how do you secure that, is something that really resonates with me. Um, so we've had bots in the past doing certain actions within service accounts, and is that run through SOD? How do we address those as, okay, that's that AI tool or that bot is how we hold it accountable. Yeah, we give it certain roles that maybe breaks some SOD. Do we have a monitoring control? Treat it like a person, and monitor it and make sure that that bot doesn't misbehave. Um, so really, I'm looking more on the security side in the back end, but also what value add are you getting with this? So it brings me to one of the things within Fusion AI, which is very difficult. Most people may not understand this. I'll talk about this at Ascend, but AI units. Oracle Cloud now uses what they call as an AI unit. It's they shorten it to AU. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so so from a previous, like, embedded AI versus custom AI, really they've moved to a consumption based model. Okay, and so everybody thinks, oh, okay, well, this is okay. This is not an issue. I mean, I get 20,000 AI units per month at no charge. Okay, so
Right.
Oracle, oh, we'll embed this in there, and we'll let you kind of do a consumer consumption based, and then you know, so everybody thinks, oh, great, we want to use the AI, we want to get involved in there, but if you don't have any mechanism or visibility into who's using it, how are they consuming it, and are you getting a value out of that consumption, you can eat through those 20,000 AUs a month, and then they have a tiered, like, additional blocks that you can purchase. So here's my point: is you still have to look at that and monitor what's going on there, because if you eat through those 20,000, guess what? You're buying more.
Mm-hmm.
Are you optimizing? Are you using those 20,000 that are free properly? Are you getting an
Mm.
ROI off of that? So at first, a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, okay, well, this comes with it. This is inherent." But no, the consumption-based model puts the pressure back on the company to make sure that they're monitoring, have visibility, that the people that are using it um, are, for example, you may have a privilege that then triggers the usage if that person's using it. So you got to know what privileges, what roles people are getting, and are they consuming it? Are they ultimately driving value at the end of the day to the business? So Oracle's putting that back on companies
Mm-hmm.
to monitor that. So
It can
anyways,
get
I
confusing.
think
Yeah.
yeah, I think more people will take it more seriously as time goes on, when they bleed past the 20,000 a month. Then
Mm.
there's a cost. and
Yeah.
and so they don't think about it now, but you should be structuring where you're having visibility of that and optimizing that 20,000, because you could be paying extra for something that you're not efficiently using, if that makes any sense. so
Yep.
so
It
anyways,
does. Yep.
it's a little
So,
bit complicated. Oracle never makes it easy, um, but they always get you in the door to get into it. And
right.
then, if you're not prepared, the back end could be costly.
Yeah.
So,
And that's why we're here, right? So that makes sense.
yeah.
So, so I mean, are you seeing that Oracle environments are becoming more complex from a AI governance or a licensing perspective, Matt?
Oh my goodness.
Hmm.
Complex. Yeah. Yes, it's becoming extremely complex. Um, Almost to the point where people don't really totally understand it. And some of it is a
Yep.
black box to me. Um,
Right.
So the speed of these functionalities, you know, it's here, and everybody's competing with it to stay ahead of it. So even in this space, like for SOD, I mean, if you can get an AI platform, ideally to be set up, and you've got an in-scoped SOD rule set, you add that to it, let AI decide. Okay,
Right.
somebody can come in and talk to a bot. We're working on some of these things where they just ask, okay, I'd like to, they don't have to say the job role. I'd like to do procurement. And the AI would say, okay, with your roles, you know, these are the conflicts. So you may not even request something when you're talking to a bot. Can I do this? Can I add this to my responsibility? Oh no, this is run against the SOD rule set. We're gonna have these issues, so forth and so on. So, having that type of real time uh, discussion with AI, it's not too far off in the security space to do that. There's a little bit more complex involved there, but it's becoming uh, super competitive out there. Everybody's driving that direction, highly complex. My main thing is pointing to visibility in here and the security side. Can we control AI? Can we hold
Right.
someone accountable? Can we hold? My fear here is always, can we hold something accountable? How can
Right.
we hold how can we hold AI accountable?
Right.
You know, so if
No.
AI makes a mistake, or AI in the process, you know, does a major fraud, who
Right.
was behind it? You can't put AI in jail. You've been bad, AI. We're going to put you in timeout. Like, it's one of those things. Really, ultimately, there's got to be some level of accountability. Even if we're using AI, someone is held accountable, um, so that we
I hear
can
you.
we can maintain control there,
Right.
because it could be very easily used to say, hey, AI decided to do this. It wasn't me. Well, yeah. Why did it all go to your bank account? Well, the AI decided to do that. Like, no. The complexity leads to, really, the security control, the GRC space keeping up with how to govern
Mm-hmm.
this thing, that you don't want to cut back on the value add, but you also don't want to open the door to it being used for for evil, because
Mm.
everybody's going to use AI, and there's more and more stuff on that. I've done a podcast on that, recently. Kind of talking about Star Wars. You got the dark side, and you got the good side, the
Mm-hmm.
light side and the dark side, and someone's always going to look at ways to exploit
Yeah.
with AI, and in that space. So me coming from a security and risk management side, it's always a little bit scary, the
Mm-hmm.
pace that we're taking, in this. But the complexity, to answer your question, is going through the roof. So really,
Yep.
there's more of a need to have these tools to help govern it.
Right.
You can't do it in spreadsheets. You can't keep up with the changes that are happening. You have to have these tools to work alongside these powerful
Mm.
ERP systems to make sure
Right.
that you're covering your risk. So,
Right. Right. So, one thing, let's talk about audit for a minute. Are organizations actually surprised when they have an audit? Have you seen that?
yeah, yes, they are. Because when they get audited on the back end, it is a huge surprise to them, because a lot of them expect that their system implementer, helps advise them to do that on cover segregation of duties and that and in scoped. And so you got to be careful on the front end, really asking the right questions to make sure you're getting that coverage. But the challenge is people are bidding on these, and sometimes organizations are taking a low bid and it's not fully covering what they need. So yeah, it is a big surprise. It is a big, what is it? Change management. It's a big pain point for the organization to change it after, and the cost. I mean, sometimes, multi-million-dollar cleanup efforts happen where it could have been a couple $100,000 on the front end, within the design and build of the engagement to prevent that down the road.
Right.
So there is a level of lucrativeness of these cleanup engagements for SOD. I prefer to be preventative rather than detective corrective. I like to get that in on the front end, but it's more difficult. You have to have those relationships with the SIs to kind of address this on the front end. Now that brings me to license optimization. So when you're going down and you're trying to say, hey, why should we, use custom roles and do least privilege? Well, not just from a risk and security standpoint, you should do it for an optimization standpoint. Why should you be consuming more licenses than you're using? There's a cost to those licenses. Why wouldn't you design it to cover both, where you don't have a bunch of privileges that are triggering licenses that are not being used by the team member? So that's what I talk to. That's what I try to have the conversations with the SI partners to address this on the front end, so that we can go in and do that. So we'll kind of talk here about demoing how you go about managing licenses with our one TRC license management tool. We can pull that up and demo it here in a few minutes. But that's my main point, is like, if you can get this preventative on the front end, ask those questions, that's ideal. We do fix this stuff on the back end, but you can never do it the same speed. It's very slow. Everything has to go through change control. It's in production already. People have already been familiar with their processes. It doesn't give them a vote of confidence in the new system or even management rolling it out if they have to make major changes. They don't feel good about the system. Like, why did we do this? Why is this painful? Why I'm having to change up the process now? So it really is something that, from a time, resources, team member experience, and dollar amount, it's better to do on the front end. So
I hear you. So are organizations still struggling with manual provisioning and ticketing systems, Matt?
Yes. We see it all the time. We have multiple engagements that we are right now working on the self-service role-based provisioning. And the auto provisioning on the back end has been a huge value add for clients. It takes a little bit more time to kind of set it up on the front end with personas or tied to a job code from the HR system. But then when people leave, the self-service is very streamlined at that point, because they just put in, it puts what they need, it goes through the workflow, they approve, and it's auto provision. So you see with these systems, if you can't get access, the first day or two, sometimes people are waiting 3 or 4 days once they start in an organization. And just think, if you start in an organization and you didn't get access to the system that you needed to do your job. Okay. You come in, you go through some of the orientation, and then you're just waiting for days. Is that going to make you feel, as a new team member, that this company's got this together? What's going on here? So that's a real world problem. Sometimes it's taking multiple days to get the access to start their job. What if you could get it on the same day you started?
Should be, right? That should be how it
So,
is. Yeah.
and I'll talk to how that, even with this license management tool, makes so much, uh, you have to have both working at the same time. Is if you're going to remove access, if someone's dormant and they're not using access, that's one of the first things that we're going to do. And I'll talk about it. Let me get out of here and let me demo
Sure.
the software, and I can talk to, um, I can talk to that as we go through here. So
Sure.
this is our license management tool, um, and it has a dashboard here where you can kind of see an overview. Most companies have this where you can kind of drill down to any of these, top 5 service license usage, top 5 users using it. Hey, if they got seated roles here, these are top 5 that are consuming licenses. As you can see down here, application implementation consultant. You shouldn't have that in production after go live. A lot of companies do. This consumes 22 Oracle licenses. This is major expense and it's major risk because it's a configuration got access role. So should not be limit if you need it for some. It should be monitored. It also should be time removed so you're not consuming those licenses. But I've seen 10, 15 people have this role with companies recently. And it's like, why? Why? So here's your top 5. You can drill into this. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this dashboard. What I want to
Mm-hmm.
go is to the seated reports. So I want to start out with one that will look like what you would get from Oracle from a license usage audit. It'll show pretty much here's your subscriptions on the left-hand side with Oracle. You can import these in. And then, okay, this is my current amount. Here's the remaining. Okay, I'm over 115 here. So this kind of shows you a high level of where you're over. You can look at inactive users. One of the things that I like here is we've got this role dormancy report. So you can really kind of look 30, 60, 90 days if there's dormant users. So that's your first thing. If someone's not in the system using it, why should they have access? So you set a policy. Hey, you tell the team members, hey, if you're not using it within 30, 60, 90 days, we'll automatically remove that. That'll take away that consumption of licenses. That's where I was telling you, if you don't have a good self-service role-based provision that you can provision the stuff back quickly, people will not want their access removed. Takes a week. Hey, I need to do my function. I need access now. Now I'm waiting a week. I'm never giving it up. Okay, so self-service is important because if you can get it the same day, hey, remove their access. Hey, when I need it, I just request it. It's auto workflow approval approved. I get it the same day because it's auto provisioned. Now I can do my job. Okay, so this is a huge one. We save companies a huge percentage on this dormancy. And it's real simple. Uh, but what I like here is the next is we're able to track by privilege use. So for example, if I run, when was this role privilege last used? So privileges are the things that there's buckets of privileges that trigger these subscription licenses. And so, hey, if somebody's not using that privilege, hey, let's find out. Say they have AP and procurement. Well, we look in here and say, okay, they haven't been using the procurement role. Okay, 30 days, they haven't been using the procurement role. Let's remove that. Okay, so once you remove the procurement role, you're removing all those licenses that trigger licenses. Now, the third level is hey, you've got a custom role that you've built and it's triggering a license. And now you want to kind of remove that from that custom role because nobody's using it. It's triggering a license. You can go to that level with this reporting. So, uh,
Awesome.
so yeah, having the privilege last used is very helpful to kind of monitor from an optimization standpoint. But like I said, this is at your fingertips. You're able to download these, export these to CSV or Excel, and slice and dice it, send it out to the business. What I like to say here is one of my favorite things here to maintain this is if you're looking by entity. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, you a lot of organizations run into this. They've got a lot of business units and they don't know the utilization of the licensing by business unit or entity. So if they budget by that and say, hey, this is what you're using, we're able to see that with this by entity level, that, hey, this is what you're consuming. Then you put it back on the business unit. Hey, this is what you're going to get allocated from the total licensing cost. And it puts it back on the, hey, you better utilize this. You better, if you want to reduce this, you
Right.
better get a handle on, optimizing. And if you're, whoa, I'm way over. Let me get this in line so I don't get allocated this huge expense based on that. Most organizations don't have that visibility. They kind of just have to haphazardly, oh, this is how many users you have. We're gonna slice up the percentages based on users and so forth. So this allows to kind of create accountability based on the BU level to say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is what you're consuming, optimize it, reduce it. You don't have to pay as much. So,
So are customers seeing a lot of savings from this? What kind of savings are they seeing, Matt?
oh, this is where, I mean, the savings they're seeing here, like I'd mentioned before, is anywhere from 500,000 to 1.5 million a year. And usually that's, you do that in phases, like dormant, view only users. Um, is a problem because there's no SKUs for view only with Oracle Cloud. But there's ways to do custom forms. There's ways to not trigger those licenses as well. So there's some things that take a little bit more time to implement, but the dormancy, um, you know, is very easy to put in place and save money right away. But usually after a couple months, you can get all this stuff within the organization. Uh,
All right. So I think we have a little bit time left. So I think there was a question, what steps can organization do to ensure AI does not compromise security posture, regulatory compliance, and risk management frameworks? You want to get to that, Matt?
oh, well, that's a loaded question.
Right.
That AI
Yeah, I think here is
doesn't
it
come.
that, yeah, compromise the security posture, regulatory compliance, and risk management. This is completely many parts to a
Okay, so pretty much
major.
the whole GRC.
Uh,
Um, well, it depends. The answer, I mean, I like that. It depends where your GRC is housed. Um, so Oracle Cloud, Oracle Cloud has risk management cloud. And so, um, the AI features there. I mean, you're wanting to look at this and have this pull from an API and look at the security within Oracle with some of these tools. So you're pulling this information out. If AI, you've got to monitor, what AI is doing, similar like I was saying before. But for the whole model, if say Fusion has AI working in these categories, I don't know if there's a monitoring of that. To me, it goes down to the solution, what you're trying to do. So breaking that out and making sure that AI is not messing with that model. So for example, SOD and sensitive access, if you're pulling that from Oracle, you're able to see and monitor, run reports if people are getting stuff. So for example, if AI is giving access out that it shouldn't, if you had that automated or within a system, you could monitor that. We also have a SQL guru that can pull out and look at reports. We have a lot of seeded reports there that functional analysts use for it. That's a real good monitoring tool because of how difficult some of the audit policies and reporting on that is within Oracle. So, yeah, it just depends where your GRC is as an outside tool. Is it inherent within the ERP system? And then what control mechanisms are built in around them. But these are good questions to have, because I don't believe even the structures, when we're putting this out, we're putting it out at such a speed, we're not addressing the control side. So I'd find out what your structure is, and then go from there. That's a difficult question.
I think
that's multiple webinars that can't be answered. And but yeah, asking the questions and really pulling back a little bit and understanding I think is vital.
Right. So I'm going to ask you the last question that I have, and then we'll just leave it. I don't see a question. So what is the biggest takeaway you want the attendees to kind of leave with, your lasting, what is your thoughts on that?
Oh, trust no one. Yeah, trust no one. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, you got to verify everything. It sounds good. A lot of this stuff out there sounds good. You also feel, okay, it's Oracle. They're huge. They're massive. They're always going to get it right. We should rely on them. And that's not always the case. Now, there's a lot of things that they do well. There's other things that, you've got to test and verify, because at the end of the day, you have an ERP system, and, you can outsource some of these things, but if you don't own it yourself, you're ultimately responsible for those tools that you put in place. So that's my biggest takeaway is like, is it providing the solution you want to do? If it's AI, are you tracking it? Are you making sure you're getting an ROI, or are you just spending a lot of money from the organization standpoint? And is there accountability to what you're delivering with that? So always look for a solution that delivers, and have them show you so that you can take that to the organization and add value. So
that's excellent. I think that sums it up for today. And Matt, I think we want to tell everyone here to come join us at Ascend.
Hey, we've got to promote Ascend. We started with Ascend. We're going to end with Ascend. Come out to booth 514 if you're there, June 8th through 11th. Also, shamelessly putting my presentation, The Traders, in your tenant. So we'll talk more about how to remove banish those traders before the Oracle usage audit.
Absolutely.
Because they're gonna take the money. They're gonna take the money at the end of the day if we don't. So all right.
Yep.
Thanks, Nithya. Thanks, Excelencia, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks. And it was great conversations. Let's do more of these.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay. All right.